This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome everybody. You are looking live in Northern Virginia for another edition of Redskins Relaunch. Welcome everybody to the studios at DMVSTREAM.com. Again, in Northern Virginia, Fairfax to be exact. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us. You can get at me, boom, Twitter, Sports Talk NC8. Sports Talk NC8. We got a lot to talk about tonight because the Redskins, they are who we thought they were, and that's exactly who they are. All right, they ended up losing to the Packers 20-15. Really wasn't that much of a game, especially after the two injuries, or really and truly 4 injuries. Really wasn't much of a game. So it's, gosh, where do we go from here, Redskins fans? What is the next steps? Okay, do you want to, you have the NFC East coming up. You have the Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys. What exactly do you want? That will be a question that we pose to you right now. You can get at us on DMVSTREAM.com's Facebook page, as well as Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, every type of social media platform. That's where we are right now on DMVSTREAM.com. Let's go over a show rundown. We got to figure out what we're talking about tonight. Look, another year at home in the playoffs. I mean, what did we expect this season? In August, we think it was a playoff team. We thought that the defense was going to carry the day. We thought that the offense was going to be all right, especially. Okay. We thought Jay Gruden was going to, finally. All right. Well, you know what? It was just another waste of a year. Another year under Dan Snyder that okay. All right, at a loss for words already. We're 2 minutes in. Then we'll talk about Darius Geis. He's out again. Pushed to the IR, hurt his knee. Was that hit a dirty hit on Darius Geis? I've had a lot of conversations and arguments and discussions about that with several co-workers. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. Plus, earlier in the season, Dwayne Haskins, not a lot of faith in him. And you could tell because he did not start the beginning of the season. Everybody wanted for him to wait. Don't put him in front. Don't put him with this offense. Don't put him with Jay Gruden, yada, yada, yada. Well, how much faith do you have in this young rookie now? We're, again, 3 games away from the end of the season. Basically a month away from finally finishing college football. So if you see something out there in college football, and we have maybe one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft, I'm just saying. Plus, I want to grade Dwayne versus the Packers. Okay, he had a couple of good weeks against the Lions, especially against the Panthers. Let's talk about grading Dwayne against the Packers, though. Plus the youngins, they're making plays. They're making plays. That's always a good thing. Keys to the game of the Eagles. We got to figure out how exactly to beat this Eagles team. Look, Philly was down 17-3 in the first half against the Giants. How can the Redskins duplicate that? Well, really and truly, how can they duplicate their first half performance of the season when they were leading in Philadelphia against that team? We'll go around the NFL. We'll talk about different teams, the 49ers, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Bengals. The Ravens win again. The Titans, the Chiefs. We'll get to that definitely in a moment. The Nats getting down to business. They got money. They got money to spend, and I'm just saying my pockets are wide open. My pockets are right here. There's lint. All I got is a chapstick. That's all I have. I'm just looking for a couple of dollars. Caps, they have a huge game tonight against Atlantic Division leading Boston Bruins. The Wizards, again, they might be one of the worst teams of all times. But guess what? Davis Bertans, he's Sertans, okay? Maryland undefeated, not anymore. How come they ended up, again, undefeated but still dropped in the rankings? Well, we found out why on Tuesday night. And just want to get some of your thoughts about your favorite Christmas movies. Interesting. But before we do any of that, we have to introduce our guest whose head has been bobbing in your screen because the shot's so wide. His name is Colvin Underwood. See you in the DMV at Twitter.
That's me.
What's up?
What's going on,
A big Chiefs fan.
I am so glad to talk to you.
It's been a long time.
I've been chomping at the bit. Is that what they say? Is it champing or chomping at the bit to talk sports with you, to talk about the burgundy and gold, to talk about everything that's been going on local. We've got a lot to talk about because I haven't been here in a while. And my big mouth got a lot to say.
Oh, well, then let's get that. Let's go ahead and let you talk. Let's go. First off, we got to talk about the Redskins. Look, that first half, I don't know what it is about the Redskins and this team for the past 5 years, but they cannot get off to good starts. And you thought it was just a Jay Gruden thing, but the past 2 weeks, they've gone down 14-zip, just like that. Early in the first half, early in the first quarter. Same thing happened again against the Packers. Against the Panthers, they ended up fighting back, staying with their game plan, able to pull out a win. Against the Packers, not so much. What were your thoughts about the Redskins in Green Bay?
I just thought that good performance from a team that's not very good. And I think that it's okay to say that now. They're not a very good football team. And the propaganda coming from Ashburn is, we have talent. We have kind of talent that we have in this locker room. There's not enough talent. Because if you have enough talent, that's a winnable football game. And I know Green Bay's got, that bad man, Aaron. I know all that. Blah, blah, blah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. But, who's to say with a little bit more talent they don't win that game?
Yeah. Or
at
at
be
least
able to make a play, at least be able to make a play or two. So instead of getting a field goal, you can get a touchdown. You get a touchdown, you might win the game.
Well, that's the thing with the Redskins over the past 2-3 years, especially under Jay Gruden, is not scoring. Red zone efficiency.
Correct.
Which has been horrendous. Horrendous for the Redskins. So, yeah, I mean, that's par for the course for the Redskins at this point. If you get into the red zone, guess what's happening? You're going to kick a field goal.
They don't have enough playmakers. They don't have enough playmakers. And they came into the season probably with not enough playmakers, and then losing Geis didn't help matters, and then losing Jordan Reed didn't help matters, and then losing the silverback Trent Williams
That may have hurt the most.
Right. So now you're looking at a team that's 3 of their best players are not playing or ineffective, however you want to put it, and you got a rookie quarterback, you got an offensive line that's been reshuffled. You don't have really anything on the outside. The McLaurin is a beast.
He's a beast.
Now,
That was the one thing they got right.
How they find him in the 3rd round, I don't know. That means everybody slept on this kid, or that Washington just knew, or maybe because they drafted Dwayne, they were like, well, we're going to get somebody that we know that he's complimentary with, that he can link up with. Whatever the decision was, that was like one of the best picks they've made in a long time.
Listen, you know what? With the exception of if that was Bruce Allen's decision, whoever made that decision needs to be the GM, except for him. If it was Bruce Allen, look, I'm not on the case of having somebody lose their job because there are only 32 of these jobs, but he probably needs to be retitled, shifted to another portion of the organization.
Well, we're talking
because
about a team fundamentally, Winston, for years that's been dysfunctional at best.
Yes.
Who goes out and spends money on players that you think will be helpful to them that don't pan out, that have players get injured that you're counting on. Everything that can happen to this organization has happened. And now you're looking at another year of change, another offseason where are they going to have a new GM? Are they going to have a new structure in the front office? You're definitely going to have a new head coach. Well, guess what? If you have a new head coach, what else are you going to have? New OC, new DC. You're going to have all new coaches. Who do you keep from this staff? It's what can you say about it? What it hasn't been said in the last 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years about this franchise. We're back to square one with these guys. We're back to square one. This might as well be Jim Zorn. It might as well be Shanahan. That's where they are.
Yeah.
That's just where they are.
Yeah.
They made all these moves, Winston.
We're close.
And they're right back to square zero.
What is the culture? It's damn good.
Pretty damn good.
All right. Hey, you know what? Let's take a listen.
I veered off there. I'm sorry. You asked me about Green Bay, and I talked about the history of the Washington team.
Don't worry. We'll talk more about that later on, but I want to hear a little bit more from Bill Callahan concerning, Dwayne Haskins and his performance in the game. Let's hear from Bill Callahan.
What do you think of Haskins' play today? And he's got 3 games left. What do you need to see from him?
I think he continues to improve. I think there's some plays he would want back, obviously, but I thought he stood in there tall, tough, and made some plays in the 2-minute drill here. That was good to see. I thought he had good control and command with no timeouts left on the clock. I thought he did a good job there.
So, again, Callahan talking about Dwayne Haskins and how he thought he progressed as far as that game was concerned. Now, listen, in that first half, you saw Dwayne get sacked, rolled up on, and then had to go back on the sideline, had both of his ankles taped up. I don't know exactly what they did, but they taped him up. Right. He went into could not move at the end of that second quarter. Right. Came out third quarter, looked like he could move a little bit more. He was a little bit more mobile, but why would you put him back out there?
Why are you playing him?
Well, you got to see what he can do.
Do you really?
Yes, you do. Because guess what? Again, top 3 pick. One of those 3 picks is going to be Joe Burrow, or it's going to be the kid from Oregon.
Who's to say that you had to put Haskins in this year? Just because you drafted him 15?
You needed to see what he can do, especially because you knew they were going to stink,
but
and they were going to have a high draft pick.
He didn't come in the door as the guy. He was always going to be the 3rd guy this year. He wasn't going to play in front of Colt. He wasn't going to play in front of Case.
That's because of Jay. Nobody was going to play in front of Colt in Jay's eyes. Okay. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, the team needed to see exactly what this kid had.
I would prefer if they knew they were going to stink this year, which they did.
Yes.
That he comes in fresh slate, coordinator, whole nine, training camp under his belt as the starter, everything in place for him. Now, it's going to work out well for him because he did play.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying that, but who's to say that he wouldn't have been better off not playing and learning? Because here's the thing. Go back to Callahan when he played at Buffalo, when he made the start in Buffalo after the bye. Mm-hmm. Callahan came into the press conference, and I thought these were the most telling words of the season. He said, I was so proud of Dwayne for making his first start in the league. So you think, okay, that makes sense. He was able to get in the huddle, get the
and
play
just the
out,
get the verbiage.
Get the verbiage.
Yeah.
Then his footwork was X, Y, and Z. So that told me right there that nobody on the coaching staff thought he was ready to play this year.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But you got it.
Okay. So then the propaganda was coming out, he wasn't ready.
So if that is the thought behind, with the coaches or whatnot, then he would need to play. You can tell from his first appearance in that Giants game when Case got knocked out.
Yeah, that was
he was not ready for the NFL game speed, and you can now see he's a little bit more prepared for NFL game speed, which is what he needed to see.
But if you look at, here's the thing, and this is where you have to be patient. It's hard to tell Burgundy and Gold fans to be patient.
Yeah,
you're seeing the maturation of a quarterback, but you don't know what it's going to be on the other end, and what makes things kind of hard to go through is that you watch what Daniel Jones is doing in New York. There was a reason that everybody wanted Daniel Jones before they wanted Dwayne Haskins.
Not everybody.
Because
not everybody.
Most.
Not everybody.
Washington did. That's what you heard.
That's debatable.
Okay.
That's debatable.
Daniel
Well, you
Jones,
know who
Daniel Jones was more ready to play this year. Daniel Jones was more ready to play this year. That means he could get into the huddle, do the verbiage, had the footwork down because he came from a pro-style system, and he had David Cutcliffe was his coach at Duke. Everybody knew he was more prepared to play. Not saying that he was going to succeed more than Dwayne, but between those two, if you had to pick one guy based on what you knew,
he's ready now versus upside. Ready now versus upside.
Right. Now, Washington's going to have to wait. Now, remember this. New head coach, new coordinator. So the kid already has got 2 head coaches and 2 coordinators.
Yes. And so will Daniel Jones. so will Daniel Jones.
This is true, but I think Daniel Jones was in a position where he had a little bit more than Dwayne had to go with. And if you watch Dwayne, you can see the talent is there. The arm talent is there.
Yes.
He got a cannon for an arm, but he's got to learn touch. He's got that one that McLaren caught behind Houdini catch like that.
Yeah.
Dwayne threw the ball like he was 50 yards downfield. He's only 20 yards downfield.
Yes.
Those are the things that he has to learn. Now, you have time for him to learn
That's what
things.
this season has been about. It's about him learning.
It's going to be the same thing next year.
Yes, because he has to learn a new system and the whole nine. Yes, absolutely. But that's why he needed to play this year.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. So what have you seen this year that makes you encouraged for next year, if anything?
There's nothing encouraging about the Redskins moving forward for the next 2 years unless some changes are made.
Like?
We'll get to that after the break.
That's the tease
we love the tease. That's what they call a tease in the television business. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, Redskins Relaunch is coming right back. Again, we were checking out Todd Booth. Thank you for all your comments. We'll get to those right after the break as well. Here with Colvin Underwood, Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
When you look back at the second half, what stands out to you about what you were able to do? Because it looked like things were going better for you in the second half, even despite that.
Some of these guys sitting there and taking on the chin. So that's what happened, and we had to put the ball on the field and make some plays, and I couldn't move the way I usually could, and that's just part of his playing position and just playing, trusting my eyes, and maneuvering in the pocket when needed to.
In what ways did that ankle limit you, and how much was it limiting you?
You've seen it. I couldn't really move too much. Times where I felt like I could have broken out of the pocket or made a guy miss. Kind of just sat there, and it is what it is.
How much more comfortable do you feel now than 5 weeks ago, and what do you hope to accomplish over the last 3 games here?
I feel way more comfortable, but it's a long road ahead for me, and where I feel like I can be in the future. I'm excited for the last 3 games against the NFC East and playing home for the next 2 weeks, and hoping we get a couple more wins and finish off strong.
All right, welcome back. You're looking live again at Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm here with Colvin Underwood of CU in the DMV, DMVSTREAM.COM. Good place to check out a lot of other DC DMV sports content. He has it there on his site. You just heard from Dwayne Haskins talking about his performance against the Packers. That was right after the game in Green Bay. You can tell that Dwayne has it. He's not a star. He's not a Robert Griffin star, but he's a competent, solid person, and media person that's able to, he doesn't fumble over sentences and things like that. He's
polished.
He's polished.
Yeah,
That's a good word for it. He's a polished star.
But you expect a big time quarterback at Ohio State to be that.
I was expecting a little more,
but he was very well,
especially from
kid.
Bullis.
He's okay,
but he could be a lot better, and he'll get to that point with, like I said, a little bit more experience, a little bit more game time, a little bit more, in the media, in the community, and what have you, and not being sheltered by the powers that be. In any event, again, Todd Booth checking in. We posed this question earlier in the first segment. We wanted to talk about, the Redskins' high draft position, whether or not they would go away from Dwayne Haskins and maybe draft another quarterback in that top 3, top 4, whatever draft pick they end up getting. Todd Booth commenting, someone would trade for Haskins, bulk of contract paid, maybe not first, but late second, early third round. Not saying I'd give up on him yet.
I have a way, and we can get to this later, I have a way to fix the burgundy and gold.
Okay.
I have a way to fix it.
We'll get to that.
It has to do with the draft.
Yes, we first have to grade Dwayne Haskins' performance against the Packers.
Okay.
A couple of different criteria: pocket awareness, reading defenses, pass protection, and overall.
Under the circumstance, man, he didn't win the game. And you play to win the game.
Yes, you do.
And so if he was average, if the grade is C, does that mean they win? Or if he was B, would they have won the game? That's a very good question, isn't it?
Okay.
So if he was better than you think he was, whatever grade you give him, whether it's a C or a D, if it was a B or a C+, would they have won the game?
So I'll go back to last week when they ended up winning against the Panthers. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a good game really statistically, really but he was able to make throws when he needed to.
Right.
He didn't. He had those couple of third down catches by passes to Harmon, as well as Chris Thompson and Terry McLaurin in the fourth quarter against the Panthers. This game he did not have those. So and last week I ended up giving him. I originally gave him a C because I was. He, like I said, his numbers weren't great, but he got the job done. Mm-hmm. But I ended up changing it to a B because he did win. This week, it's a C-.
I can go with that.
This week is a C-.
I'd even go with a D+ because they didn't win, and because they got field goals instead of touchdowns. But he was under duress.
He was under duress, and he was injured. And he was injured. So that's why he would get the C.
I could definitely see you giving him a C or a D, or I'll even go this way and say I and say incomplete.
Incomplete. Ooh, he had a lot of those on Sunday. Stop.
But you're going to get a lot of incompletes with a first-year quarterback. So I just think everybody should be patient and just see how he finishes out the season. Look, they have 3 games coming up in the division, and I think if they're looking for a rallying cry to rally around, is hey, we want to beat these teams in division. Particularly if you can beat Philly or Dallas this year, that's a feather in your cap. If you can, mess up their playoffs to get them, where they're trying to go. And, they should. The New York Giants game, I want to see if they're a better football team than they were when they first played the Giants this year.
Yes.
Now, he's going to play in that game, too. He's going to play in this game, too.
Yeah.
So how far, that might be the measuring stick, Winston, that we need to look at, is how far he's come from there, which he was totally outclassed in that game.
Yeah, that was not
right.
A good performance.
That was Jay. It's like, oh, you want to play? Here you go.
Yeah, here you go.
That's just what Jay did.
Let's run the trigonometry, the calculus plays instead of just doing straight up algebra 1.
Sure. But there's so many layers to Dwayne, and I think sometimes he gets an unfair shake. I understand people wanting him to play. Like I said, I could have lived with him not playing this year and just have another year to kind of learn. And maybe is he getting any influence from Alex Smith? Do you think that's helping at all?
Yes, he has. Any kind of absolutely. He said that. I think a lot of people in the building have said that Alex Smith has a wide-ranging, aura in that building, not only on the field and on the sidelines, but also in the front office. We'll get to that later on as well, because there are some tidbits coming out earlier this week about possible head coaches.
Oh yeah, I definitely got to talk about that.
Yes.
It's you take the Green Bay game for what it is. It's just another game in the process for him and where the team's going. And you tell me, what's the most important? What's the main thing you want to see out of the last 3 games?
I want to see improvement by Dwayne.
Okay.
I want to see the offensive line actually fight. Against the Panthers, they fought. Packers, I don't know. They were on the, I know, because at least one-fourth of them used to play for the Redskins. Right. But I would like to see those young players and the young players stepping up. I want to see them play, make plays,
right,
including on defense.
Okay.
Jimmy Moreland, I want to see a little bit more out of you. Dunbar, they probably are going to shut down for the rest. Well, he was at practice today on the sideline, was not practicing.
Right.
But
no reason to play Dunbar.
There really is no reason to play Dunbar. Josh Norman, he's not going to play.
Don't worry about it.
Some of those other guys, Fabian Moreau, he's actually played well.
Yeah,
two interceptions in 2 straight games.
Yeah, Moreau's showing you a little something.
Yes. Yeah. So you want to see something like that. You want to see guys actually, build up some type of confidence.
I agree.
Moving into the next year. So that's, at least for me, that's what I want to see. I want to see Kevin O'Connell kind of, broadening his horizon as far as a play caller is concerned. He might not even be here, but he is at this point auditioning for somebody else.
Yeah, everybody is.
So you want to see improvement. You want to see progression. You want to see maturation, not only from the players but from the coaches as well. Not sure about Bill Callahan, what he's going to do next. I even brought this up last week, and whether or not, if Callahan won out, would you want him back?
Well, that speaks to the culture. That speaks to the culture of the organization. What are they looking for? I mean, one thing that Dan has proven is he likes offensive coaches. All of his hires have been offensive hires. Now, who's to say that this next guy would be an offensive coach? Who's to say he's not going to be a defensive coordinator? And that's, again, another conversation to have about what direction. Here's the question, Winston. So what is the identity of this team?
I don't know. You know what? There is not an identity for this franchise, not since.
Not even for the organization.
Yeah,
there's no identity for the organization.
Yeah,
there is an identity for the organization.
Probably, yes. It's not a good one. Probably not since Joe Gibbs Part 2. Okay. And even then, it was, he needed a little bit more time. But at that point, he was probably, checked out, especially after Sean Taylor with that incident.
Right.
But Joe was probably checked out. If he had maybe another year under his belt, he may have been able to turn things around.
Right.
But he didn't.
Right.
But the identity that you do want to have, especially for the next guy that comes in here, I don't really care if this is an offensive guy or a defensive guy. I just want whatever coach that comes in next is going to be a leader of men.
How about a winner? How about a winner?
Leaders of men can be winners as well.
Yeah, you do need a leader.
You need a leader of men.
Definitely need a leader of men. I agree.
You need a master motivator. Every single coach knows X's and O's, out the wazoo, probably stuff that we've never even thought of and forgot.
And I think that's why the first name you heard was Tomlin.
Yes.
Because Tomlin checks all those boxes.
Every single box.
Every single box.
But if you wanted to bring Tomlin here, every single Redskin fan, whether you are a hardcore Redskin fan or even just a halfway, like, you know, I don't really like them now because they stink, but as soon as they win 10 games, I'm on the bandwagon. Every single one of those fans, the two factions, everybody get a hat, pass that hat around, and put your church tithes in. Okay, that's how much money it's going to take to get Tomlin to come here.
And then look what he's doing.
Look
what he's doing
this
year.
That's on top of whatever Dan wants to pay him.
Right. But of course, no. And I thought that was a pipe dream to begin with. He's going to leave the stability of this team.
Redskins fans are good at buying pipe dreams.
Yeah, but it's all about the name, though. It's all about the
name.
And
I don't mean talking bad about the Redskins fans because, you know.
Well, all of them are Ravens fans now. You saw that,
yes,
right?
There was a good article. Right,
they're all, you know, flocking, no pun intended, to Baltimore.
That's good.
But
that's good.
Like Cam and I was talking about, quite frankly, if there's a Redskins game on and a Ravens game on, and I have no horse in the race, I'm going to watch the Ravens.
Why? Because they have a quarterback.
How about let's go even further than this.
They have two quarterbacks.
What's football? What is football in 2019 supposed to be? Entertainment.
Yeah.
Washington is not an entertaining football team.
But
Baltimore is a very entertaining football team.
Okay, but they're okay
on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've had the entertaining teams, but they always lost.
True.
Baltimore has an entertaining team that actually plays football.
Right. And that's appealing to people in this area who suffered through the drought of what the Burgundy and Gold have put out for the last several years. And so one thing about that article, people have been defecting to the Ravens for years because they didn't want to pay the tickets and didn't really like the fan experience at FedEx. So people down here in Prince George's and Montgomery County and D.C. have been going to Baltimore games for years. That's not a new phenomenon. And one thing about it is, if you give the people something to cheer for, they're cheer for. Because here's the thing: when RG played for Washington, I never watched the Ravens.
Nope.
No. Because Washington was an entertainment football team.
Yes. Even when they stunk, you still watched RG3.
You wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yes, you wanted to see his other leg blow up.
What would the kid do?
Yes.
And that's what they're missing. Wow. They're missing the wow factor.
Yes.
They're missing everything. So when you're talking about putting this thing back together for Washington, you're talking about it's going to be a teardown. I don't know if they can really – I can get you there. Remember, tease. I can get you there and get you competitive. I can get you competitive next year if you want to listen to GM Colvin Underwood. I can get you there. But the thing about it is you got to really rebuild this thing. This
you got
thing
a lot of battle for that GM spot. got a lot of competition.
Here's the thing. Would they let me GM the team? Can you run the team like it's supposed to be run?
Well, Cam, we know this answer. Everybody out there in the universe knows that answer already.
I'm just saying.
I
just put it out there just to see what you're going to say.
Yeah. Well, we know the answer. It's like we know who the real GM is. At least when it comes to the big moves.
And but that would be okay if it was.
Yeah. Breathe it out.
Look,
let it.
I've been saying this, Winston, for a long time. They didn't have to draft Haskins, in my opinion. Now we can really say that because of the result of this season. We can really say that they didn't have to draft Haskins because they stunk. They didn't have to have him back there to stink. They was going to stink anyway. So now that changes the whole complexion. When you drafted Dwayne Haskins, you are going down a certain road.
Yes.
You have committed, like, this is what we're going to be about. In a draft that didn't have a lot of quarterbacks, it was a 2-quarterback draft. And the best quarterback got took in the 6th round, and that was Minshew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were a lot of kids that were out there. I even said Drew Lock may have been a guy in the later rounds. Make sure you get your beef up front. You know my philosophy is always going to be draft your linemen, get your foundation of your house built before you even build your top floors, your upper floor, and your roof.
Nobody does it.
No, we're
Nobody
trying to
does
build
it.
the roof first.
Nobody
Can't
does
build
it.
a roof without the foundation.
They let Andrew Luck get beat up for 100 years until their offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and Andrew Luck ain't the quarterback.
Yeah, he was like, man, I'm good.
And they got some studs up front in Indy.
Yeah.
They'll maul you.
Yeah.
Right? But 3 years ago, and Luck still threw for 4 million yards. But just to show you how good he was, but he took a beating.
Yes.
And one thing that Baltimore's got to watch out, don't let the kid take a beating. Don't let your
He's going to
don't
turn
let
into
your meal ticket
literally.
take a beating.
It's going to be Patrick Ramsey all over again.
Patrick Ramsey.
Yes, remember him?
Man,
he got beat into oblivion.
He got beat out
into
the league.
oblivion.
He got
Yes.
beat out the league.
Yeah, went to the New Orleans Saints and still didn't do anything down there.
Well,
so.
he was shook though.
Yes.
Every time he dropped back, he just fell.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
And why? Because they didn't have an offensive line then.
Right, you got to build an offensive line. But we'll talk about that.
Yes, we got to get to that. All right, so are you buying into the future of Dwayne Haskins as the future of the Redskins? You buying in or no? You're just at this point, you know.
So hard. You don't know what you got. You don't look. The quarterback position in NFL is one of the most important positions in all of sports. Okay, it really controls things. Look at New England. Look at New England. Look at New England.
Yes.
All right. So we know that there's talent out there, but how does talent manifest itself into wins and championships? We've seen a lot of talented people come through this league that didn't do anything.
Come through this city.
Come through the city. That boy with the RG3.
Yeah.
Talent.
Yes.
But how talented really was he? How talented was Marcus Mariota?
I mean, he's on the bench now.
Right. Look at Jameis Winston.
There's debate about that one.
All right, so now we're going
He's
down
entertaining.
He is entertaining.
Yeah.
But we're going down. There's no guarantees, are there?
No.
And nobody knew Mahomes was going to be Mahomes but the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the only people that knew that Mahomes had a chance to be.
Every time I talk about boxing, they got pulled. Why we got to talk about the Chiefs? Yeah, no, that one. Yeah, there. No. Right, yeah, there it is. There it is.
That's what it's about. But the point I'm making is, it's a very real point. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So could Dwayne Haskins be that dude? Sure he can. Is he Kyle Allen? I don't know. Is he Mitch Trubisky? I don't know. Yeah. Is he Jared Goff? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Is he Daniel Jones? So here's the question, Winston. You didn't have to draft Haskins in a quarterback draft that was light at best. Now you have a monster quarterback draft.
Yeah.
You got 6 guys out there in Kuiper and McShay's mock. They got 5 or 6 quarterbacks coming out in this draft.
Yeah. And we thought last year, no, there was no studs as far as quarterbacks were last year. But there were a lot of, like you said, Minshew, Locke, some of the other kids that got taken later in the draft that are serviceable, good quarterbacks that if they had talent around them, they could be, they are literally Kirk Cousins.
But the top of this draft
is going to be star driven. Yes.
It's Tua,
yes.
it's Burrow.
Well, Tua
maybe.
Maybe.
But he's coming out. Why would you go back to Alabama and get beat up when you can
he's not going to get
guaranteed money?
Bro, have you seen it?
Money.
Alabama?
Guaranteed money.
Alabama?
That didn't stop him from getting carted off the game, did it? It didn't.
No, it did not.
No, it did not.
But again, whatever team that he gets drafted to, he's still going to have a better line at Alabama than whatever is going to be in Alabama.
He's going to make 20.
Whatever.
He's going to make 20, 30 million guaranteed off the rip. He ain't gonna make in Alabama,
and he has.
All he might be paying him in Alabama.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, come on now, come on. We know the game.
Right.
That and the fact that he won't have as much pressure on him trying to get healthy if he were to go to the league. Remember, when did this injury happen? 2 weeks ago, so in December. If he's battling back from that, he's not going to be healthy for at least a year.
Okay.
So why face that pressure?
But that wouldn't stop anybody from moving up and getting him.
I don't know about moving up, but they might take him second round, maybe. I don't think he'll be first round. I don't think he'll be first round. I don't think so.
Oh, I think that's one way that Washington is going to get better. I think Justin Herbert's up there too. Yeah, I think they
whatever they do, trade down.
Oh, I think you got to.
Absolutely.
You've got to.
Absolutely.
You've got to hope that somebody falls in love with one of them cats.
Yes.
And be like, you know what? We've got to
We need that Mike Ditka trade.
Wait a minute. Look again. Here. Go back. Let's go back. Go back to the Ricky Williams thing was ridiculous.
Give me picks.
Give me. Here's the thing. Quarterbacks those three quarterbacks are going to be so highly rated, Winston. And look how many teams need quarterbacks. We're not even talking about the obvious, the Cincinnatis and the Miamis and people that stink like that.
Yep.
How about this? How about Pittsburgh? How about San Diego?
They got their guy.
Huh.
San Diego's going to need somebody to replace.
I mean,
New England's going to need somebody to replace.
New Orleans?
New Orleans has Teddy Bridgewater.
But
There's no but.
There's no but.
Bridgewater.
But they might like somebody too.
Bridgewater serviced well when Breeze was down, so I will take them out. But yes, New England, Pittsburgh,
and you never know who might be on the down low looking for. Maybe Atlanta's looking for an heir apparent to Matt Ryan. You never know who's gonna fall in love with that guy.
What is wrong with the Falcons? They have too much talent to be that sorry.
Never got over losing to New England. Never got over it. Never. It went.
Yep.
They were supposed to win, and they was
they were already.
Right?
They were in the streets of Atlanta rolling.
Ready to roll, right?
Oh,
and
man.
It went down the toilet, and they ain't been worth doo-doo since.
Yes. Quinn is probably he might be out of a job, but he's done well for himself.
Right.
He's won a couple of games.
So now what you're hoping is, if you're Washington, maybe you're hoping that somebody falls in love with somebody I can't do without them. I've got to have them.
Yes.
But guess what? If you don't even strike out in this draft, the next draft is going to be hot too.
Yeah, because you got the kid from Clemson. Absolutely.
Right. And from Georgia might be in that draft.
Yep.
Now you're looking at. So it keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps
but
going.
There's always going to be that big flashy quarterback that plays in college that might be in the at this rate. Some of the college kids are not running those pro style offenses. They're running that, the Ohio State, the same thing that Dwayne was running in Ohio State. So there's always going to be that quarterback. Always.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think would have went first in the draft last year? If Trevor Lawrence had come out last year, do you think he goes before Haskins and Jones?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And that's the problem unfortunately, that's the problem with staying in school, at least for some people. Like Lamar Jackson, he had come out the year after he won the Heisman. He's top pick, possibly, only because of his size and especially with the way that he was treated. When he got drafted. Oh yeah, he should be a running back, receiver, whatever. Right. But yes, sometimes when you do stay in college, you do end up losing that money, or you do end up losing your position. Yes, sometimes that does happen.
Right.
But I still say Tua stays in college. All right, look, let's take a break real quick. We'll get to Colvin's strategy as far as possibly becoming the Redskins. Strategery. The Redskins' next GM. Do we have him sitting in this room? This is Redskins Relaunch. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch. Again, your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us. For everybody out there, Todd Booth has been checking in on Facebook all night long. Thank you very much for watching again. Says, man, division sucks. I don't find no value in these games. Just getting experience will do wonders. 1,000% agree. Let the rookies, let the kids, let them get some game experience. Josh Norman, he's got plenty of experience, and besides the fact that he might not even be here next year. Guy like Quentin Dunbar, he's already dinged up. Might as well sit him, let him rest up. There's no need for him to get even, maybe even injured more, and then you're missing him until October of next year. Don't want any of that. You want to see some of these kids show improve, like Calvin Harmon, like Sprinkle. You want to, what?
Kid on the line, the Christians.
Yeah, the Wes Martin, Pierce Bacher. You want to see some of these guys flash in. You also want to see a guy like Bryce Love. Lake Lewis has been high on Bryce Love ever since he got drafted. I'm kind of there with him, but Bryce Love, he's a year away. He's a year ago tearing his ACL. So, he might need a little bit more rehab time, and that's totally fine. He's got time. He was a project.
That looks like a great move now as an insurance piece against Geis.
For Geis.
You don't know what's going to get with Geis, and that's a shame because we know when he's healthy and he's right, he's one of the top backs in this league.
Yeah,
I'll even go out and say one of the top backs.
Yes,
in this league.
he looked like one of those guys. Right. So it's unfortunate he's now in the IR. There's no telling exactly how he comes back, but he has even said on Twitter that he's going to be back, and I have no doubt that he will. Hopefully there will be a spot for him on this team. We'll talk about offseason moves later on in this show as we get to the offseason. But let's go around the NFL. Ravens pull out a big win in Buffalo. Marcus Peters with that tip at the end of the game against John Brown, saving the game.
Marcus Peters, difference maker.
Yes, absolutely. The Ravens were very lucky to get him. Ravens keep on rolling. And they have a Thursday night game against the Jets.
Which I wouldn't play Lamar Jackson in.
No. Will we see RG3?
I hope so.
Will we see RG3?
I hope so.
No, that one seed.
You
need the one seed. You do not want to go to Foxborough.
Who is that? Kevin Durant talking? Can't see you. Go back to that camera.
Get the Winston.
There he is. That's everybody. That's Cam. I got to roast him a little bit later. We're going to talk to Cam about another 4 minutes. We're going to roast Cam after we get through this around the NFL segment. The Saints lose. That may have been the game of the year.
It was awesome. Was that not an awesome game?
That was a great game to watch after the Redskins lost. Thanks to Fox for switching to that. I'm glad.
Red zone.
Come on, man. I'm a broke college student. I can't afford the red zone.
Red zone.
Saints. You know what? When I saw that the 49ers had left a little bit too much time for Drew Brees, I was like, oh, this game is in the bag. I didn't expect the Saints to score so quickly. I didn't expect that.
Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy G. Kittle is a monster.
When he was here, he played last year against the Redskins and showed him. Showed out.
The best tight end in the league, and I got Killer Kelsey on my
I was about to say you got Kelsey. I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah, but Kittle's he's built differently.
Yeah, I mean you saw it on that run.
Mega.
That was a Gronk move.
That was somewhat Marshawn Beast.
Yes, that was
like get off.
Yes,
I'm going to get the first down. We're going to win the game. That was it.
That may have been one of the highlights of the year.
San Francisco might be the team to beat. It might be the team to beat because you got to have to outscore them.
Yes. You're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to stop, and that's what you thought. The Saints defense had been playing up well up to that point. They have some games. Tampa Bay went in there and scored how many 40 some points earlier on in the season, but you figured that the defense was a little bit better than what they showed.
The scheme fits the quarterback.
Yes.
The quarterback fits the scheme. Give it to Kyle Shanahan. You know how, but he can dial it up.
What?
Dial it up.
Wow, what did you say? The scheme fits the players and the
players
fit the scheme. Wow.
I know, novel concept.
Man, who would have thought that was a good idea in football? Good news for Redskins fans. The Cowboys lose.
Always a good day.
Yes,
Always
there we go.
Day.
Yeah, lost to the Bears. They looked terrible in that primetime game.
How they on paper, and I know that the games aren't played on paper. I would take their offensive line. I'll take their front seven. You give me Amari Cooper. You got Dak.
You got Dak.
You got Ezekiel.
And you have Jason Witten, who's 900 years old.
You should be putting in work. Well, that's coaching.
That's
coaching.
Thank goodness the Cowboys are just as bad as we are. The Rams get back to winning against Seattle. So, Seattle is another team in that NFC that you want to look, that you can't overlook. Yes, they did. They did.
Really did. And I don't know if Seattle might not be motivated. They've been grinding. Their schedule's been kind of rough. They've been having some big games lately too, and maybe that just kind of caught up with them. I'm not sold on the Rams. I'm probably a little bit more sold on Seattle. So we'll see how it shakes.
Yeah. The Broncos, Drew Lock looked good against the Texans,
really good.
who just beat the Patriots.
Yeah, don't know what's up with it. Again, another team that I think that should really just be steamrolling people are the Texans. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And then your team, the Chiefs.
I'll take a win in Foxborough any way I can get it. And
thank you for saying that.
Two calls go against the Patriots.
Oh, see, here we go. We go.
I'm sorry, New England, you didn't get the calls. That's a shame.
You knew it was going to happen.
they didn't get the call, but then the dude goes to the other people's place and shoots the camera and says, well, I'm shooting for the team, but I'm going to put it on the sideline, but it didn't.
I mean,
and they're going to talk about two calls. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
It's a goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
New
goose.
England's a wild.
Yeah.
Wild dude.
They getting flagrant now.
They don't even care.
Yeah. Well, what you going to do?
What? Fine us some more?
What you going to do?
You know, if that's proven, in the league had any they would take a game or two from them instead of fining them.
I mean, that would be great. Maybe they need to
how
do.
would that-
Maybe
how would
they
that
need to
go?
do like they did to Sean Payton and the Saints. Like the Astros are about to find out and lose their manager or head coach for the season. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Let's see Junior Belichick, the safeties coach or whatever. Let's see him run the team. He looks like a hermit. He looks like a hermit, hobbit, whatever you want to.
Yeah. Josh McDaniel. Would you hire Josh McDaniel if you're Washington? Would you offer him the gig?
I want to lead.
He's got to see the handwriting on the wall.
A leader.
His meal ticket's ready to go.
A leader of men. That's what I'm looking for. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk about across the DMV sports scene with Colvin Underwood. Plus, again, is he the next Redskins GM? Back in a couple of seconds. This is Redskins Relaunch. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch here with Colvin Underwood as we wrap everything up here. Okay, so let's go around the DMV sports scene. The Nationals bring back Steven Strasburg, 7 years, $245 million.
Excellent.
Good move, bad move.
Excellent. What are you going to do? He's one of the best starters out there. You had to have him. Oh, look, get the Brinks truck, take it to Houston, give Rendon whatever he wants. If you do that, you might be able to get another title or two. Don't be cheap. Go do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent job on keeping Strasburg. He wanted to be here. He's a part of the community. He's a part of the fabric of the community. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Now, here's the problem. You're going to have all of this money out to pitchers and what have you. You're still going to have to sign Soto when that deal comes up because he's going to break the bank. Robles is going to break the bank. Trey Turner, he just went under arbitration. I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
Worry about it when you come. Look,
it's easy to spend somebody else's money.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
At it. I'm good at it.
All right. Hopefully Rendon ends up coming back, but the Rangers, Dodgers, some of those other teams are looking for.
He's a $300 million dude. Here's the thing: you could pay. Would you give him more money?
$300 million?
Would you give him more money than Harper? Harper got $330.
No.
Rendon is a 300 hitter just falling out of bed. He's got an upside.
You know what? Maybe
older.
Here's the problem. Per his position, Arenado is a top guy. What did he get? 260, something like that.
Yeah, 260.
280, I think.
280. All right, so he's right around the 300. Maybe you end up giving him 290. So maybe he is a $300 million guy. Okay, I'll concede that. That's fine.
Give him 300. Rangers.
Yeah, it's going to be the Rangers.
Park they're going into in a couple
years. Yeah.
Texas
But the problem is, Lerner said that they didn't have enough money to sign both. Get out of here with that mess. You're just getting $100 million from Masson from back pay. So come on, bro. Come on. You, like I said, spend that money. Spend somebody else's money. My pocket. Hey, look, I need some money in my money. I'm just saying. Wizards stink. Davis, look. Here's my theory about the Wizards. They're basically showcasing all of these guys so they can get some trade value for them, and then get some either players or picks.
But the whole thing is it's a rebuild, so you got to have guys to rebuild. Bertans is a person that you're going to
on a 1 year deal. Trade him before the deadline. Get maybe
more assets.
Late first round pick, second round pick
that you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so you got some guys like that. That's the same thing that's going to happen for Isaiah Thomas once he gets healthy. He's going to be one of those guys, especially all those 1 year guys. They're just basically showcasing for their trade deadline.
I'm surprised Bill stayed. I'm surprised Bill stayed. The money, you couldn't pass up the money.
No.
And I know he has an affinity for the community and everything, and this is like his town. But man, he is wasting away his prime for some very bad basketball.
Yeah.
And there is no guarantee when Wall gets back that they're going to make the playoffs.
I was about to say, just wait till John Wall gets back. It's going to be their best backcourt in the league.
We haven't seen Wall in almost 2 years.
Remember that? Best backcourt in the league. All right. The Terps, they ended up losing against Penn State. They were undefeated up to that point and then fell in the rankings. I'm like, NCAA, what are you guys doing? They're undefeated. Yes, I know they barely beat Illinois, but again, they beat who was in front of them, and yet and still they ended up losing. They've dropped the spot.
Everybody has an off night. They're built to win. They're built to ring the bell. They're built for this. And all I want to do is see them when they play the top-notch people in the Big Ten, whether it's Michigan State or Ohio State or whatever, how they do then. Don't talk to me about Maryland until March Madness.
Okay, very fair enough. I think the big men played suspect against Penn State, and Sticks is going to have to play a lot better than that moving forward.
Possible.
Yeah, he'll do all right. All right, back to you, GM sir.
Quickly.
Yes.
All right. So we all agree that this team needs what? Talent.
Yes.
There's not enough talent on the team.
How do we do this?
Oh, look, I hate to say this. You got to trade Trent. You got to trade Trent. And I
Who
know
else?
he failed. I know he failed the physical, but a blue chip left tackle doesn't grow on trees. You can get at least 2 picks for him. Hopefully, get a pick this year and next year, and I'll explain why. Then you have to get out of 3. You've got to trade down because there's nobody at 3. At 3 is an impact guy. Well, what do you need? You're not gonna get a running back at 3. You need a running back. You're not gonna get another wide receiver at 3. You need a running back. You're not going to get another linebacker at 3.
No.
And would you really take the left tackle, even though the kid's a beast out of Georgia, would you take him at 3?
No, you can trade.
Value-wise, it doesn't make sense. Get out of that pick.
Yes.
Get out of that pick and try to get at least 2 picks. If you get 2 picks in this draft, premium picks, and you can get another premium pick next year, if Dwayne doesn't work out this year, next year, the 2020 season, 2020-21 season, then you have a hedge against that. If Dwayne stinks it up and you're like, man, this guy ain't going to be able to play, you got 2 premium picks in the draft after that, you can go up and get one of them quarterbacks. That's how you get out of this.
I'll give you even one better. Do all of that and trade Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, but
and
you
get
get
another
pick.
pick.
Value, but you're not going to get value for Kerrigan.
I think
for
you
a
might.
13-year vet with a little mileage on him.
I think you might. I think you
might
get
get
at least
4
I think
or
actually
5.
think
Would
you
take that
get
though,
I think you get a
Instead
third
of-
round pick. Absolutely.
Do you see the value in having him on the team as a veteran? That he at least have one dog on the team, old dog on the team that can kind of.
They got the dogs. Those 2 front guys, Payne and Allen. They're your dogs. They're your dogs. All right. Let's also talk about what are the keys to beat the Eagles.
Run the football. Don't turn it over. Stop the run. Oh, well, look, Philadelphia shouldn't be scaring you offensively. They shouldn't scare you at all.
They have no receivers.
That should be a very good matchup for the defense. So now you at home, play them even. You might be able to squeak it out. If the kid can make a couple throws and you can run the ball decently, stay in front of the sticks. Don't get to 3rd and 10. See, that's the other thing about this, too. When they get 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15 with Dwayne, that's really tough for any quarterback, much less a first-year quarterback with the lack of experience that he has. Then teams can just kind of pin their ears back and get after him, which is what Green Bay did.
Yes, absolutely.
So, no, stay in front of the sticks, play it close to the vest, give yourself a chance to win in the 4th quarter. You might win.
What's funny is that Adrian Peterson will have his first crack at the Eagles after getting sacked.
How could you say that? See, Jay.
Well, that's why he's not here anymore.
That's why Jay's not here.
That's why he's not here anymore. We got a minute in the show. I wanted to introduce everybody to Cam Anderson.
What up, Cam?
What's up? Yes, he got KD behind him. He also has, who else is that? LeBron, but he's a dookie. So I don't know how much we could give him because he's a dookie. So,
but they don't play in the ACC no more.
I know. And how is Coach K ducking Maryland in the ACC Big Ten Challenge? What's
because
the deal?
The whole Izzo, Coach K, ESPN loves
Saw that money.
Saw
that money at the top of the bill. There's nothing there. Heck, you know what? Maryland Maryland doesn't need to mess with Duke. Maryland needs to play Virginia every year.
That should already be in
every year.
Already be in the case. All right, we got about 10 seconds left in the show. Listen, if you want to check out each and every episode of Redskins Relaunch on DMVSTREAM.COM, you can check us there. I'm Winston Hylton. We'll see you next week. Boo!
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years,